Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So we are back here in the launch pad. We've got Marty with us again. We're running through drivers. Yesterday we looked at irons together. Yep. Today we're going to run through the new G430 line, the Max and the LST today. Tell us a little bit about the evolution into G430. 425 was a phenomenal product.
Yeah.
You know, throughout the market, the SFT, the Max and the LST, all levels were really high performing. What did you guys take from this and can take forward, and what did you leave behind?
We wanted to do a better job at optimizing each particular model for the target player group that they're fitting into. So we've done some research there to target the head weights of different builds. So our SFT has a lighter head weight optimization. Okay. And that's the physics of that is to optimize momentum. It's to get the right mass velocity combination. Sure. You know, it's kind of a fun thing. If you take the weights out, you'll swing it faster, but you actually, your ball speed goes down.
Efficiency,
Yes. So there's this Goldilocks zone there, and it's different for different players. Yeah. So to get more ball speed, we want to have a really good aerodynamics. So everyone's kind of familiar with our turbulators. Yeah. Now on the G430 drivers, the face height is a little shallower. Yeah. It's kind of subtle to the naked eye.
Totally.
But the face height's a little shallower. That gives us improved aerodynamics, and it allowed us to thin the face. So this is actually the thinnest face we've ever had on a driver. Very cool. 6% thinner than on the G425. So we're seeing more ball speed. So layer all that on with another technology, which is to optimize the bulge and roll profile. We've kind of made low on the face impacts have a tighter roll radius. Now we've made the loft lower there to counter the gear effect and more perfectly optimize your launch conditions and keep your ball speed higher is another benefit of having that tighter roll radius on the bottom. So not only did we make the roll different on the bottom, we actually, then we know if we fit somebody into really good spin, kind of right on optimal, then if they hit high on the face, sometimes they hit that one that dives out of the air. Absolutely. Well, we've actually put a little more loft high on the face. Okay. So when you hit it high on the face, your spin doesn't drop as much. Yeah. I think for a long time, Marty, the golfer has been asking, with the limitations placed around head size, face velocity through CT now, and all these things, where does design go? Where can we win? Where the marginal gain is going to come from? Yeah. This to me sounds like a huge one. It's huge. It really is. Yeah. It's the equivalent of increasing your top bottom inertia of your driver by a ton. Wow. Right, and that's effectively what you're doing. Yeah. We've talked about a lot on your visit this weekend is that layering of technology. Absolutely. I'm going to add a little bit of this with a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and combine it all together. You can have a massive gain in one product launch, and that's what we've seen with the 430. 1%'s all over the head, and then, you know, match they compound. You know, it's just that compound interest. So, you know, the acoustics are phenomenal. The super high ball speed. Yep. More optimized between all the different models. So the LST, we have the really fun, you know, kind of nod. New top. New top. It's a little subtle nod to those that like the Rapture driver, right?
Played that
I love the acoustics. I love the look of it. Yeah. Even the green color kind of is a little subtle nod to the Rapture, right? In a more modern, cool, techie way. Yeah. But yeah, carbon fly wrap. And we've been working on multi-material in the driver design for a while. Right. We want to bring it into the LST driver where it's a premium on lower in the center of gravity. And you saw that theme in the fairway woods and the hybrids as well. Yeah, we definitely did. So the CG shifter, super efficient. We've even brought the CG shifter into our SFT driver. It now not only does it have our standard draw position, we actually have a draw plus. Amazing. And so part of this, again, was inspired by looking at our Arcos data and seeing that some of our SFT customers are still, for a right-handed player, still missing it to the right. Sure. So we can help them even more. Become more practical. Love it. Matty boy, what do you kind of look at? What do you see when you look down at the new driver? Thoughts on initial impression?
So I'm holding the Max. I think the top profile is pretty familiar for the last couple generations. I think it looks very friendly. I can see what Marty's saying about the face height. It definitely looks a little bit shallower, which I think is less intimidating for most people, myself included. Like I look down and see a little shallower face. It just, I don't know, in your brain you think I can elevate that ball easily.
Well, we've got the Max. Why don't we get a couple early kind of looks at the Max here. In terms of the two heads, Marty, we've got the Max and the LST that we're going to test today. Any changes to the launch and spin profile of the two drivers?
Yeah, we're going to see a good separation spin. We should see a little bigger separation spin ratios from the Max to the LST this year. Okay, that's with a little bit of the weight savings that came from the carbon fly wrap.
Got it.
So lowered the center of gravity a little bit more relative from the Max relative to the LST.
So some distance gains through a slightly higher launch, slightly lower spin.
Yep.
Awesome.
That one felt good. Shade in the heel, maybe?
It was actually, so it was a tiny fade on quad, so without wind conditions, fraction Healy, face a hair open, so it was very, very stable for kind of where the face and where the strike was.
Similar, maybe just a little more open.
Yep. We are going to see or hear certainly the 430 Max be still a little bit louder than LST, but the sound is very, very, very nice out the Max.
It is, yeah. I'm noticing that we haven't hit any yet with the bay door open, but just having that opportunity to let the sound go outside, it's quieter than last year for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, all the modeling work we did.
Yeah.
And to try to do it's acoustics engineering, and you probably talked about it with Dr. Hendrickson.
We did. We get into it a little bit with Eric in terms of the ribbing inside it and how that kind of, because we nod back to the G400, which we absolutely loved as a driver, that acoustically engineered sound, that performance from that driver was incredible, but the evolution of G410 and G425 with the CG shift and these other technologies layered on top of that, to bring that sound back on top of the other technology has just rounded it all up just perfectly.
Like, that one's nice.
Very good.
Yep.
So for anyone struggling or kind of needing a little launch, this looks like it has it in abundance. I mean, these are launching, nice and high for Matt. We've seen the days where you've played the Max, the G400 Max back in the day and needed that launch. I think less so now. So, we're seeing the kind of coupling of high launch and high spin together. Probably needing that less than ever with your golf swing right now.
That's nice.
That's nice, Matty boy.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that felt really good.
Let's pop into the LST. Good, very good.
Lovely.
That's a good start.
So we're standing quite a bit back from Matt here, and obviously looking out the doorway. The Max was disappearing up over. We were kind of like coming down like to try and catch the apex. We're able to stand and catch the apex right here. And the difference in height is massive.
Yeah.
Nice.
It wasn't a good strike, but man, did I get away with it. I hit it really far in the heel.
Yeah, I mean, to hit that
it's
in the
very
heel
forgiving.
And feel like you really missed it and have that stable of a ball flight.
Oh.
That was better.
That's
lovely.
That's the flight I like to see, is that kind of...
So that looked to me, it had a little bit of what the Max was offering in terms of the launch, but it didn't look like it kind of spun up too much, Matty.
No. It was slightly low in the face, but I think I got away with the
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, a little bit low heel. Shifted that strike a little bit. I mean, look how stable that is, though. That
was really good for a toe strike.
This brings up a good point. Okay, I didn't even talk about earlier. We actually have a different, not only do we have a different roll radius, the LST has a slightly tighter bulge radius.
Okay.
Now, why is that? Fast players like Matt here, when you toe it, for him, he's probably used to, you probably expect that ball to go, over curving to the right.
I fully thought that was going to really overdraw.
Well, we actually put a tighter bulge on the LST driver because the consequence for a fast player like Matt is that we're not starting that ball far enough to the left to counter the gear effect, and it will overcurve. So not only do we have a different roll radius on our different models this year, the LST has a slightly tighter bulge radius that manifests itself into that ball still being very functional when you tow it out there.
I can see the ball mark of where I hit it. Yeah, that's exactly where I felt like.
Sort of face the path, you know, so we've got the face closed to the path and a toe strike, so compounding those two things.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's why I'm fully expecting that to kind of snap over, and I'm looking at it, it really straightened out. Nice, Matty boy.
Love that.
That was really good. Yeah, nothing I would change about that.
Yeah, that
Feels
was
great.
the best one. I mean, that
Yeah, that was the best drive.
that
would be
300 on the fly there. It was really, really good. Okay, so 430 max, 165 ball, 12.5 launch, 2800 on our model. It's a fraction higher in spin. Not surprised really to see that from that particular driver for somebody at Matt's speed.
Yeah, especially for Matt.
Yeah.
So that's what we see with our tour players. The majority of them are playing the LST.
Okay.
But because where that premium is to kind of hit that optimal spin window.
Yeah.
And so yeah, wouldn't be surprised if Matt's seeing 300-400 RPMs more than optimal according to our chart, right?
Yes. Okay, and as we moved into the LST head, very interesting to see climbing ball speed.
Yep.
Right, less dynamic loft. We're going to get more pressure into the golf ball. Launch and spin came down quite a lot.
A lot, yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we started with the head, turned a fraction open, down in loft. We actually had to add a little bit of loft back on there because of the difference. But 800 RPMs of difference on the averages is exactly what you talked about. That's a big difference.
Yeah, and especially then we have the trajectory tuning sleeve. We can tweak that. You go up a little if you needed to. If that's not enough lift.
Yeah, this will be one I want to look at for sure. For
It'll be on the
next year.
short list definitely. I mean, just quickly looking at the strike location. I mean, you were very centered, so that CG shifter in the middle was going to give you most bang for your buck. Dynamic loft coming down a couple of degrees more than we would like it to be. So
Yeah.
speaking to the 10 launch and 20, just about 2100 in spin, you know, that's probably where we would get that back up a little bit, just raise that height, and the peak height coming down
Just a bit.
really significantly. It really feels like the heads are separated an awful lot this year
Yeah.
in terms of their performance, and
Yeah.
and obviously can be brought back together with the loft tuning sleeve.
Yep.
You know, we can sort of subtly modify, bring the loft down in the max a little bit to manage that height, maybe turn it up a little bit. Or potentially, depending on what we see in shape, do we go up in loft to the 10.5 and turn it down?
I was just
You
going to
know,
say that. I wondered if a 10.5, when we get home, a
think
10.5
that would be
LST set on lower, maybe
Yeah.
flat or something, and test
my
that out.
fit.
That's you?
That's my.
Is
fit.
that yours, yeah?
I'm 10.5 LST in the big
I
minus.
think that
That's
might
the
fit me
Marty
well.
spec.
Love it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if it works for you, I'll try it.
Yeah. Hands up. Good. Well, really excited to get these back into the bay and kind of get working with them. And
Yeah.
there's so many other things, you know, changing weights out and things like that. Today we had these both built at D3 format, which is about your sweet spot.
Yeah.
But you know, I think getting to work with some different weights and things like that, we can do
Different shafts
slightly
and stuff.
even more with it. Okay, guys, that's our kind of deep rundown. I mean, these initial impression videos, we go pretty deep into it. I think the next stage is we get to fitting it. You know, we get
Yeah.
back to the bay and, you know, we have both loft options and work with it, get sort of shaft it. That's actually, I think that's pretty close for you. I mean,
It's
we were
not
trying,
far away.
Tour Chrome
Not far
was
away.
definitely maybe a little bit on the softer side for you. Tour Black,
Yeah.
the new shaft that John Oldenburg has designed, it seems to be really, really good for you. So
Yeah.
it'll be good to try that against some of the shafts that you are familiar with back in the bay.
We will for sure, yeah.
Love it.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, guys, we'll be diving into more fitting videos with the G430 product. Stay tuned and we'll see you again soon.